Time, they say, is of essence, and anything you have to do it quick. A very good morning to you once again, and welcome to Rise and Shine. Of course, your early morning breakfast show live here on Spectrum Television. We're super delighted to be here again once again, and to know that you're at the other side, keeping a tab on us. Thank you very much. My name is Janice Cobham.
Good morning, Africa. Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, Akwaba, Sibom State. Thursday is still that opportunity God has given to each and every one of us to rise and shine. My name is Uyai Anek, and of course, I would love to remind you to be a part of this community. Are you sharing the great things that you hear us talk about on Rise and Shine, or you just scroll through our pages and pass? No, you need to come back, like, share, comment, follow us across all our social media platforms so that more people can get to know that
what you have to say. Let's hear your opinion, because it's very important to us on Spectrum Television that we get to have feedbacks from all of the conversations that we do have on Rise and Shine, on all other programs that cut across us here on Spectrum Television. Now, I'm happy to be back at work. It's more like, okay, you just have to be, to talk about things happening in the country. There's so many dramas. I don't know. I wish I was at the presidential election petition tribunal yesterday to be part and parcel of all of the, the things that happened. But we just keep that in the bag for when we are ready to talk about it. But lots of dramas happening, lots of unfolding as well happening in the country, and it just shows where we are as a nation. It just shows that so many things have really gone wrong, that we need to begin to be very conscious and very intentional about making it right. And I like the fact that Nigerians are not, at the back seat at all in terms of trying to see that, yes, we talk about these things when we see them, and we say no to some of those things when we are supposed to say no to them and all of that. So it's good to see in this time that we have a conscious country, a conscious city, give our lives to God and look up to God, to come help us. But the truth is, if we do not talk about it, the wrath in the society, the wrath in the system will continue. Well, we take a mind back to the Hilda Bassey story, and a lot of comments from Nigerians. Oh, this is one thing that has united us as a force, as a nation, right? Nobody's saying I am from Igbo. Nobody's saying I am a Yoruba. Nobody's saying Lagos is my city. I own Lagos. We didn't see that happen. We saw Nigerians coming as a force to support one of theirs, and it now became not the Akwa Ibom win. It didn't become the Aqua Cross win. It rather became means we'll continue to be in this quagmire that we are in right now. And why I was even likening it to the Hilda Bassey story, a lot of people made comments, right? Oh, this is one thing that has united us as a force, and this is one thing that is being celebrated, that we are good people in the country. The only problem that we seem to have is bad leadership. And when we have bad leadership, continually have bad leadership, it will have a way of trickling down to affecting the common man. It will have a way of disrupting the economy. It will have a way of rotting more the society. And that's why we need to keep talking about those things. And trust me, Uyai, government is listening.
Exactly.
Government is hearing these things, and whether they are going to use what they hear people say with it. Sometimes, yes, it looks as if, okay, we are doing so much, to try to, government is doing so much to try to see how they can work with some of those criticisms that are in the open, right? But then again, sometimes it looks as if, oh, they are just paying a blank ear to all of those things. But the thing is, we'll keep talking.
Yeah, we'll keep talking, because one way to also foster change in the country is through dialogue. And dialogue is what we do, bring these things to fore, especially when we also give Nigerians the opportunity to speak up about issues that are pertaining to them. Collective democracy, we're talking about the economy, we're talking about health. It's necessary that we continue to put Nigerians are talking about, and they look for creative ways to infuse it in the solutions that they are providing for the citizenry. So we can't say that all hope is lost.
Yeah.
We keep doing what we are doing, and we know that eventually the narrative will change. And we must also agree that Nigeria is not in the place where she used to be a couple of years ago. There's also some progress that we have made with regards to certain sectors. We haven't covered grounds, and even the sectors we seem to have broken through a little bit. It is conversations that, you know, that Nigerians and the media have had that have continued to give a voice to the kind of nation we want to see, and that's very, very important. But then let's just move up straight to one of our flash news. More things are happening. The list that was sent out by the APC NWC for the Senate presidency candidate and that of the House of Reps seems to have, you know, caused a lot of chaos to brew within the APC. There's a lot of in wranglings. People are saying we are not comfortable with the fact that you handpicked certain persons to go for that position. It's meant to be open and, you know, more like may the best man win. So this is still an issue, and they're saying imposition of candidates not constitutional. This is what APC professionals are telling Tinubu. Now we are coming to hear that there is such a thing as APC professionals within the APC. Now this is a socio-political organization within the All Progressives Congress under the aegis of Renewed Hope Professionals. Yesterday, they faulted the National Working Committee of the party and President-elect Bola Tinubu for anointing candidates for the 10th National Assembly leadership. The NWC had announced Tajuddin Abbas, meant by its coordinator Kinu Kabirwa, said the announcement of both lawmakers as leaders of the 10th National Assembly was a clear violation of Section 50, subsection 1B of the Constitution of the Federal Republic as amended. He said democracy is now under serious threat with this imposition concocted by the outgoing Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila and the NWC to further compound the grave political situation in Nigeria. Now, as a group of professionals with the interest of APC at heart, we plead with the President-elect to immediately nullify this organized crime imposed on lawmakers and allow a free, level playing ground for the legislators to pick their leaders. Okay, now they're saying it's an aberration that must be quickly checkmated before it develops into an hydra-headed monster capable of turning the legislature into an unwarranted war zone over the personal interest of a few disgruntled elements in the party. I know, like, if we backtrack on this conversation, you're going to keep on hearing when they refer back to the Saraki now.
Yes, Bukola Saraki.
Saga.
Yes,
and everyone is saying let's not have a repeat. Eventually these people become leaders and they're saying let's check this. And when you now put it side by side with the Constitution, section 50 subsection 1B, it's saying it's against the Constitution of the federal government, then I think the conversation is getting more expounded. We are getting to see that, okay, if we are really on the side against the law, then we need to review it. Yeah, we really need to review it.
Definitely. You know, I actually wanted us to talk for such positions to be zoned.
Okay.
Then those in South and Southeast, like, you know, they're saying, should rather be in the race for this particular one.
Not a particular person.
Not a particular person, right? But again, when we are saying that, yes, it is against democracy because it does not allow for a fair playing ground, you know, for everybody to come out that have interest. Now, aside from the newbies that are coming into the Senate for the first time, I think those crop of people do not stand a chance to contest for that particular position. But when we are saying, okay, so I have an interest and you have an interest, provide a level playing ground for all of us to come out and contest. Let people that are supportive of us and our ambition as Senate President for the 10th Assembly just queue behind us. It makes sense, right? But when we say that, look, for the zoning process, let us see how we can zone to groups, that's geopolitical zones, that have not really had that representation in this particular position.
And it will still take us back to the South.
Of course, yes. It falls back to the South. Because when we even look at the, you know, how the Senate presidency has been from the First Republic up until this moment, you find out that I think aside from Joseph Wayas of Cross River State,
there's really been no other South-South.
We have not really seen that South-South representation. Yes. So if there's any group of people that should be crying foul of marginalization, when we're wondering how many people have represented the southeastern Nigeria on that saddle as Senate presidency. So the argument is both ways now. Yeah. If we're saying let it be zoned, then it should be zoned to a geopolitical zone that haven't gotten that real representation when it comes to the Senate presidency. Yeah. But if, on the other hand, senators are saying, look, to forestall democracy, let us have a level playing ground, then all the senators that are vying for that particular position should go to the field. And definitely it's just amongst themselves that the voting is being carried out. So that's where lobbying comes in. And then let it not be that, okay, just because of selfish interest, that's why people are going to that seat. Let us have Senate presidencies that will actually, make the House of Representatives, or the Senate now, make it what it is supposed to be. And not like the rubber stamp that we had, being represented during the 9th Assembly.
There's a lot of question. Now, we're also looking at, although the APC NWC had said, okay, we want Abbas and Akpabio, did this exonerate other senators from being able to vie for the position? Because it's a problem. I don't think that the APC has the power to just put only those two people unopposed. Right. They're just saying for us.
He comes up to say that these are the consensus candidates.
Which means there are people that agreed to the fact that these people should
go for it. Yeah. So that means that whatever it is that we're going to be doing is just for, mere formalities.
But then again, we're still going to have the likes of the People's Democratic Party also field who they want for the seat of the Senate presidency. So this, I feel like the election in representatives. Let's not even forget that the North Central and I think the Northwest now are also saying they are interested in the seats of the Senate presidents. Usually when it comes to zoning, my problem usually is at a meeting we are all going to agree that we want to slot these things through zoning. When it eventually comes to the time where it should be zoned to certain parts of the country, we now begin to have more conversations of, the North Central say they're interested, the Southeast say they're interested, and all of that. If we have picked on zoning and they all collectively believe at this time it should be going to the South-South, I really don't think that this amount of controversy that it is brewing shouldn't be brewed. Because then again, if you're saying South-South, apart from Akpabio, who else is there in the South-South that you'd say, is interested in that particular position? So there's even a lot of things for the APC NWC to review with regards to this particular issue. Yeah. But it's in a couple more days, and we do hope that they are ready so that the voting will be done. Remember that Akpabio was also warned not to pull the Saraki, I think it was Saraki stunt now, do not come for the inauguration late. Make sure you are there early, and I hope that whatever that means, that Akpabio will heed to that particular, instruction, as it were. But then let's move on. If you remember, last week, part of our very serious conversations has been why do our presidents continue to go for, every time they need medical attention, they need to go abroad. And they have contributed to the $3 billion medical tourism fund that Nigeria has generated in the past 3 years. And we asked, why is Aso Rock Villa Medical, going to happen tomorrow? There's an unveiling. Now, barely 3 days after returning from a medical trip in London, the United Kingdom, the President's Major General Muhammadu Buhari, retired, will, on Friday, which is tomorrow, May 19th, inaugurate the presidential VIP wing of State House Medical Center, Abuja. Now, following the ribbon-cutting ceremony, President Buhari, accompanied by the Permanent Secretary of the State House, Tijani Umar, will embark on a guided tour of the hospital. Now, a statement signed by the State House Director of Information, Abiodun Oladunje, says the President expected to be seated at 9 a.m. Now, this is also part of the legacy project of the Buhari-led administration, and it is situated within the premises of the presidential villa. Had its groundbreaking ceremony conducted by Chief of Staff to the President, Professor Ibrahim Gambari, in November of 2021. So it's taken about 2 years for this particular facility to come up to speed. The hospital, which serves as a specialized intensive care unit, will cater for the president, vice president, their immediate families, and VIPs. The presidential VIP wing houses several specialized departments to be staffed by a team of medical professionals, featuring 5 consultation rooms dedicated to various specialties, including respiratory, cardiology, ophthalmology, ENT, and general consultation. Now, as an addition, the hospital has a specialized X-ray suite equipped with a digital X-ray machine as well as diagnostic suite encompassing MRI, CT scan, and endoscopy facilities. We would love to, continue to list the things that are here. But, well, we can actually tilt this conversation to very many sides. Now, they're also saying that patients and visitors can enjoy access to a healing garden designed to foster healing, relaxation, and enhancement of overall well-being. These are things that the State House said. You need to see this. Now, the total cost amounting to 21 billion naira. The VIP wing also showcases a catheterization laboratory. The State House Permanent Secretary Umar said, "We are excited that President Buhari has kindly consented to inaugurate this legacy and transformative project on the cusp of the completion of his 2-term tenure as President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria." Now, it said since the inception of this project in 2021, the State House management has successfully completed several projects, including a special care center, incinerator, and the dental wing extension building at the State House and Medical Center. Now, the president will not have to have dental appointments in the United Kingdom anymore. A block of 2-bedroom flats at the staff quarters of the medical center, as well as a 54-seater State House multi-purpose training center for the auditorium.
Okay, I think when we look at this particular project, like it said, a legacy project of President, I think 21 billion naira. It's okay. We would say that we applaud the president for actually coming up with these kinds of things, these kinds of projects. When we look at how much we read yesterday on the papers that is being gobbled by medical tourism at every time in the space of 3 years, that Nigerians actually fly abroad for medical treatments and all of that. I think it was $3 billion now. Yeah. $3 billion. That's pretty much, if we use that $3 billion and add to whatever it is, 21 billion naira now, that the president is using for the Aso Rock Hospital, then we would know that we'll have lots more very professional and state-of-the-art equipment in these hospitals. But then come up with these kinds of projects at the point where he is leaving. So if it had started way earlier than 2021, we would have had a situation where he's also a beneficiary of these facilities, and of course the services being rendered in this hospital as well. We will also remember as paracetamol in Aso Rock Villa, and then you're seeing startling amounts of monies that have been budgeted into the Aso Rock Hospital. Now, in 2019, there was analysis of budgetary allocation in the last 4 years, and it shows that 3.94 billion naira, 3.87 billion naira, 331.70 actively for the operations of the State House Medical Center. Of course. So when you put all of these funds together and you're hearing things like there is no paracetamol in Aso Rock Clinic, and you're wondering where do all these funds go to? So let it not be that this kind of a project is a conduit pipe for more siphoning of public funds. Now we know that the president is Mr. Integrity when it comes to corruption and fighting corruption. That those are one of, you know, his primary objective and primary mandates when he came on board. And yes, Mr. President is a man of integrity. I think the other day we were citing, a guest was citing an example that yes, he is one president that has, you know, he came to the seat of governance with one house in Daura and something, and he's leaving back to, you know, that particular house and all of that. Fantastic. But how much has this administration fought corruption is the question a lot of Nigerians will keep asking. And like I said earlier, let it not be that this is a very fun thing. It pulls it back into the economy of the country. But will this actually stop a lot more Nigerians and a lot more political elites from traveling and leaving the country to go for medical tourism?
That's a major question, because it is clearly cited there that the hospital is for the president, the vice president, the first
family members.
Yes, and then certain VIPs. Now, you do not know how this is going to
and yeah, just quickly now, it was also said that for kidney transplant, right?
Yes.
So we won't have the aquarium going out to, you know, other nations now to have their kidney
and let's not forget that some of the facilities available at the medical center here are not available in most hospitals in Nigeria.
Of course,
so it means that it's only the state house medical center that will be able to be providing some of those medical services. Now, the fact that some of these things are only available there, does it also mean that they're going to open it to Nigerians who are in need of these, you know, medical services, or else they will still have to keep traveling abroad, because this particular hospital is for the president, the vice president, selected few members of, you know,
facility in the medical center of Aso Rock.
That's something we need to wait to find out. That's something we need to find out, because the next excuse you're going to hear is that, oh, we have a particular medical practitioner who's been taking care of the president for so long, and we cannot necessarily bring him to the, you know, the State House Medical Center. Hence why the president needs to travel abroad. These are some of the excuses that might come up. But for now, we are saying we have gone past where we argue that the medical center at Aso Villa is not functional. And like when we usually, I know we've had this conversation before, where I say, if you say there's no paracetamol at the medical center at the Aso Villa, I feel like those were unnecessary exaggerations. Going back to the amount of money quoted every year, and these are statutory things that have been done across all administrations.
Federal Republic of Nigeria.
It doesn't mean that the first lady cannot exaggerate the situation.
I don't think that it was exaggerated. If there's paracetamol in Aso Rock Villa Hospital, then there's paracetamol. If there's no paracetamol, there's no paracetamol.
But it just points out.
Is this not where we were in this country, where they said rats chased the president out of the Aso Villa?
So you can imagine budgeted for the State House Medical Center and all
misappropriation.
Where have they gone?
Misappropriation and corruption, misappropriation of funds. So
and
people should be questioned.
Exactly.
People should be questioned.
People need to be questioned, you know, and
let's not just quote all of these monies and then we relax and say, oh, it was allocated for these kinds of projects.
You know,
and the projects are not carried out.
You know, there's a difference when they said it was allocated but was not disbursed. So that's also an end conversation. Yes, these monies were allocated, but were they disbursed? That's where this will now take another tilt. What if it was budgeted, never disbursed? Then you now say no one got the chance to siphon the money.
But it was allocated, which means that there was money allocated for it. So somebody's holding the monies.
Nigeria, our country. That's what we're going to say. Well, then let's just move up from that quickly. And
I think we should go for the news break.
But congratulations to you know, the president and the leadership, because at this point we are going to say the Buhari-led administration, like they said, this is a legacy project. They are providing a lot of soft landing for the Tinubu-led administration. They're saying, come in, take your medical center, come in, don't come in invited by subsidy removal. Let's push it forward. So this administration, it means that we're going to have a lot of expectations.
So it's more like at the last minute of his administration, you know, and then transition to, we're beginning to see very laudable projects being taken up and more like being completed as well. I think the Orashi river dredging is one conversation that has been on the front burner. A lot of commendations coming in from that angle as well. And then, of course, we know that monies were disbursed and allocated for the minutes. Is also last minute to grapple enough funds, you know, to leave with and then cover up tracks as well. But then We say you're doing well when we see that you're doing well.
Endpoint benefits will be way more.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But at this time, Mary Joseph is on standby. We need to hear tidbits of global news. When we return, more conversation are available for you on Rise and Shine. Did you hear about the drama within the Labour Party yesterday? We need to break this down, so don't touch that dial. Stay with us.
As of state and government, Secretary General delegates.
This will be Lagos, Nigeria for Spectrum TV to recover 45 seats still counting.
A very good morning to you and welcome to your morning news break on Spectrum. Live from Uyo, Idam. President Muhammadu Buhari will on Friday inaugurate the presidential VIP wing of the State House Medical Center, Abuja.
The hospital, built on about 2,485 square meters, is a specialist intensive care center to cater for the president, vice president, their immediate families, and other VIPs. Meanwhile, the ECOWAS Community Court of Justice in Abuja will on May 19th hear the suit filed by the Media Rights Agenda seeking to compel 2021 on behalf of MRA by Abuja-based lawyer Darlington Oyekwere, leading Chioma Nwaodike, Obioma Okonkwo and Sadiq Rabiu against the federal government. In a separate development, the Inspector General of Police Usman Baba has condemned the attack on a United States consulate convoy that resulted in the killing and burning beyond recognition of 4 persons and the abduction of about 3 others. The 7 persons include 2 U.S. Embassy staff, 2 police mobile force officers and their vehicles, as well as the likely abduction of 3 others at Atani Osamale Road, Obaru local government area of Anambra State. On the foreign scene, Ukraine said unprecedented air attacks had rocked its capital and other areas a day after it reached an agreement with Russia to extend a deal allowing grain exports across the Black Sea. The deal, a rare example of cooperation between the warring sides, was welcomed by the United Nations and the United States, though both called for more certainty over the export as Russia has threatened to end the pact, which is crucial to global food security. Finally, in sport, Manchester City produced a stunning performance to reach the Champions League final as Ronaldo title in 6th season appears a formality, with City needing just 3 points from their final 3 games, while United awaits in the FA Cup final on June 3rd. We'll have details of the stories and more in our news at 12. I am Mary Joseph. Let's head back to Rising Channel. We have Janice and Uyai on standby. Do have a wonderful morning.
Voting for Spectrum TV to recover 45 seats still counting.
Business exists only to meet the needs of the people, but there's an extra advantage if your product and services are pitched on a platform that gives you the added advantage over your competitors. For your desired return on investment and so much more, advertise on Spectrum Television, on StarTime's DTH Channel 421 and on free-to-air with a frequency of 12733. Spectrum Television, broadening your horizon.
Every society is premised on the quality of relationships forged by its inhabitants. The health of these relationships determines how well people, relationships, organizations thrive and how long they stick together. Join Uyai and Yekan on Connect every Wednesday from 6 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. and on Sunday, Relationships and Family Life in the 21st Century. Real people, real faces, real stories. Connect live on Spectrum Television.
Nigerian police, which is the only one allowed by cross them. Our governors have to share police powers with the president as stipulated by the Constitution. We do not have a federal government police force. We have the Nigerian police force, which shall be administered, organized, and supervised by the Nigerian police force.
No, my Lord, I want to say something. I want to say something here. Perhaps it might also enlarge the scope of people who should be invited here for examination. My Lord, if we cannot find those who literally murdered Abiola, who are those people who could be said to be the beneficiaries of the death of Abiola?
Rogers has linked you with some of the killings he did.
He never did.
He linked you with the attempted murder of Ibu.
Adversary proceeding.
It's not, my lord. This case is in court, my lord. I'm just reminding your lordship.
My lord, sorry, my lord. I think I'll be in cross-examination.
Legally Speaking, a program that deals with legal issues and questions we face as citizens of this amazing country, Nigeria. Legally Speaking. Join us every
Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
for Legally Speaking.
One truth not often told is about the transformation that Africa has undergone in recent decades. Africa is shaping its own destiny and should be referred to as the African opportunity. On Spotlight Africa, We paint the African picture the African way, laced with truth, detail, and the color of the African continent. Join Uyai Anyekan every Tuesday and Thursdays at 4:30 p.m. Spotlight Africa, telling the African story.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Rise and Shine, and we're coming to you live from Uyo, the capital city of Akwa Ibom State, Nigeria. And of course, we've had several conversations. Mary Joseph just brought us tidbit of global news. Some of the things that we have talked about this morning is the fact that APC professional faction is saying that the imposition of Akpabio and Abbas as candidates for Senate presidency and House of Reps speaker is not constitutional. Of course, this was said by the APC professionals to Tinubu. We also talked about the fact that the president is to unveil the Presidential Medical Center tomorrow. This is one of the legacy projects by the president as he leaves office in a couple more days. These and more are some of the conversations that we've had so far. To catch up on all that, you need to be followed. There's so much more conversations we need to be having this morning.
Okay, so Daily Spotlight this morning, we get to share with you some of the information making it on the front pages, the big stories now, making it on the front pages of our national dailies. So let's look at what the papers have to say for us this morning. We start with the Nigerian Tribune, where it says that the big story here says U.S. Secretary of State Tinubu in 20 minutes phone call, Atiku expresses disbelief. And let's look at what the writer says. He says Blinken advises on inclusive leadership, stresses U.S.-Nigeria partnership. Tinubu wants assistance on security, economic investment, action, demoralizing to citizens. That's what Atiku is trying to say, that the U.S. shouldn't be in support of the candidacy of Bola Ahmed Tinubu as president-elect. We'll definitely come back to that story. And then moving on, we see that Sunday Bank, former Methodist prelate, dies at 86. Oh, wow. Such a pity. Sad story there, but may his soul rest in peace. 25,380 Nigerians, PHCs lack required skilled birth attendants. That's coming from the National Primary Healthcare Development Agencies. It says 25,380 Nigeria's primary healthcare centers lack required skilled birth attendants. Then that's trouble. Moving on, Plateau killing, death toll hits 85,057 victims get mass burial. Barack. Death toll hits 85,057 as victims get mass burial. Okay, let's move on now. Sad story. Labour Party crisis, mob attack, only release 30% election documents for our inspection, says our Labour Party Council. Obi Labour Party refusing to pay 1.5 million to access document requested. INEC tells tribunal.
Why they supposed to pay the 1.5 million?
We'll find out. FEC okays $4.7 billion port development in Ondo, Lagos, and Delta. And that's all that we have as stories on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune.
Moving on from the Nigerian Tribune, we're going to look at the Nation newspaper this morning. The Nation says, expect institutional reforms, Tinubu promises Nigerians. The writer says U.S. Secretary of State calls President-elect on phone. Kiamo chides fuming Atiku for criticizing Blinken's actions. We also see here U.S. Abuja, Calabar, others. Ondo, Yobe, Oshun yet to join. Patience for evacuation. Ex-Methodist prelate Mbang dies at 86. Of course, that is one of the, elder statement that we had here in Akwa Ibom State. Akeredolu, Boniface, Allah Sodura, PDP agents. Also see here a picture story of the fracas that happened with Lamidia Papa at the election tribunal center. Yes, we also have here INEC OB unwilling to pay exhibit certification fee. Okay. This gives more light. INEC will be unwilling to pay exhibit certification fee. LP faction chair Apapa beaten up after clash with Abure group in court. EFCC writes outgoing governors Matawale being searchlight on federal government agencies. 90%.
Flipped through the Punch newspaper now. The big story on the Punch here says PDP Labour Party kick as U.S. Secretary of State calls Tinubu. And the writer here says U.S. promises continued comprehensive security, economic cooperation. Atiku, Labour Party berates Blinken, say phone call demoralizing and worrisome. Confusion as LP factions clash at tribunal. I regret backing Tambawal to become speaker, says Bajabiamila. 7 banks fined 1 billion naira for forex offences. 7 banks fined 1 billion naira for forex offences. And we also have that Matawali urges EFCC to probe presidency officials and ministers. I think that's like a good, in, more like an instruction now or an advice. Matawali urges EFCC to probe presidency officials and ministers. It's a good advice, actually. Nigerians would want same as well. Let's give account of how our stewardship has been, for the past how many years that you have been occupying those positions. A varsity admission with tears. And we have that minister carpets resident doctors as strike grounds hospitals. Minister carpets resident doctors as strike grounds hospitals. And those are all the stories that we have here on the front page of our national daily.
Okay, moving now to this day newspaper, we see that NESG Dangote Refinery will create $21 billion MAN LCCI ACCI loud massive project by Africa's richest man. Okay, we also have here in honor by broadcasting peers, Arise News Channel wins TV station after year. U.S. Secretary of State calls Tinubu, task him on inclusive leadership. Blinken, attack on U.S. convoy in Anambra may not have been pre-targeted at our mission. Buhari saddened by killings of U.S. Embassy staff, policemen in Anambra, others in Benue Plateau, says perpetrators will face the music. Federal government Soludo Huriwa condemn attack on United States consulate officials. Anambra governor pledges reward for information. Okay, we need to look right into that. Buhari Emmanuel mourn Methodist Church prelate emeritus Mbang, of course, and that's all the stories that we have on the front page of this day.
Okay, let's take another paper this morning and find out what it is saying. We look at have we taken Punch?
Yes, we do Vanguard.
Okay, so I would rather do the Sun newspaper, Daily Sun this morning. Of course, the conversation between ties, U.S.-Nigerian ties now. Atiku expresses disbelief, says call contradicts previous stand on 2023 polls. Okay, so I get Atiku Abubakar's position on this particular one now. We move forward now. Zamfara government attacks EFCC, challenges agency to probe presidency and ministers. Okay, a number attack will bring perpetrators to justice. U.S. Buhari films skeletal services in hospitals as doctors begin warning strike. Delta communities threaten to short oil installations over abandoned NDDC road project. Okay, and we move forward now. And of course, on presidential election, Obi tells tribunal how INEC denied him access to materials in Rivers, Sokoto, and others. And I think those are just some of the stories that we have here, except this one that says, don't create rifts between Labour Party. Okay, don't create rifts between Labour President-elect. TUC warns Ononuga. Okay, we just hold it on that for the Daily Sun.
Okay, moving straight to our last paper, that'll be the Vanguard newspaper. And the big story says presidential poll, John's petition till Friday. If not for God, I'd have died in court, says our Papa. Denies receiving 500 million naira to scuttle Obi's case against Tinubu. INEC frustrating my petition against Tinubu, Obi tells court. Insist on Rivers Sokoto election materials. Obi LP refused to pay 1.5 million certification fee, says INEC. We also have here Anambra US vows to fish out killers of embassy staff. Death toll rises to 10. No American killed. US Buhari saddened by killings. We also have here Sentobi failed marriage led to his death, says Zeb Ejiro. Blinken calls Tinubu pledges to strengthen U.S.-Nigeria relations. Hospital services disrupted as resident doctors begin 5-day warning strike. Of course, we have here again prelate emeritus of Methodist Church Nigeria. Mbang dies at 86. Manufacturers challenge federal government over recession. in sector. Page 19 is where you can find that particular story. Why and how petrol subsidy must go. Of course, we have Iguaven. Golden Eagles will be promoted to F Eagles. Okay, these are all the stories that we have on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper.
Okay, so those are all the stories, quite interesting stories, I must say, on the front pages of our national dailies this morning. But I know that one of the stories that just cuts across all of the dailies today is the drama that ensued at the presidential petition tribunal sitting yesterday between the Labour Party, INEC, APC, and of course Tinubu and Shetima as well. And then of course what Atiku Abubakar and Labour Party are also saying about the U.S. Secretary General's call to Tinubu, which according to Atiku Abubakar contradict. I think will give Nigerians an opportunity to call in and make their contributions. But while we're also waiting for the calls to be coming in, the Lamidia Papa and Labour Party drama that ensued yesterday seems to form our focus conversation for this morning. But I would like us also to look at some of the clips of what ensued yesterday. Of course, we saw that the Labour Party acting chairman now Lamidia Papa and the Director General of Peter Obi's presidential campaign council, Akio Osotokun, they clashed at the appeal court. Now it's quite a pity that this clash was because how can Lamidia Papa come and say election petition court sitting in Abuja? The Labour Party has been immersed in this kind of leadership tussle, with Papa getting a court ruling last week as acting chairman pending the determination of the party's leadership lawsuits by Federal High Court. But let's just take a listen to all of the dramas that ensued. You know, they had to the Federal High Court removed Julius Abure as the national chairman at some point and brought in Lamidia Papa. There were also allegations that Lamidia Papa is being, is more like an anti-party now. He's being positioned in the Labour Party to, bring about a disroute and cause problems for the Labour Party, especially looking at the election petition tribunal that is ongoing. Let's just take a listen to some of the arguments that ensued in court yesterday. Let's take a listen to some of the arguments that ensued in court yesterday.
It's a lot of. Are you okay? You have to be simple. The way you approach here, are you here to represent? I know you. No, nobody knows you. Nobody knows you. Nobody knows you. Who are you too? Nobody knows you, sir. So why are you telling me? Why you saying? Hey, don't try. Don't ever try and touch me. Get away, you there. here to represent.
I know him. He knows him.
No, nobody knows you.
Don't say that.
Nobody knows you. Nobody knows you.
Who are you too?
Nobody knows you, sir.
So why are you telling me? No, please. Why are you saying why you don't intervene?
Hey, don't try. Don't ever try and touch me. If you dare try and touch me, are you okay? No, we are here to represent you.
You have to be simple. The way you approach
Who are you here to represent?
I know him. He knows him.
No, nobody knows you.
Don't say that.
Nobody knows you. Nobody knows you.
Who are you too?
Nobody knows you, sir.
Yeah, unconnected to all of the leadership tussle that we've seen happen in the Labour Party in the past couple of months. And it's quite obvious that the Labour Party has not been able to also put their house together. And I know that the Lamidia Papa faction have been one faction that has continually tried to see how Peter Obi and the Labour Party can take back the petition, withdraw the petition. Again, is not having like a collective, objective of the Labour Party that represents the Labour Party in totality. Yeah. And from those footages, of course, we saw that he was chased out of court and people booed him and were shouting "Ole, Ole," which in Yoruba means thief. And then all of that happening in the court yesterday, it's quite a shameful thing that the Labour Party should be experiencing this kinds of altercation at this point in time, where according to them they are also having an objective of reclaiming a stolen mandate. And aside from the Lamidia Papa issue, now we also see that INEC also has its own part, in terms of, or rather has its own reactions to this allegation. There's supposed to be a 1.5 million naira fee, yes, that has to be paid. So why is the Labour Party not paying it?
I'm very sure that when questioning the validity as to why they should be paying 1.5 million naira to access those files, that it should be in the best interest of the proceedings of the election. It now behooves on INEC to explain why that particular certification proceeding has a fee of 1.5 million on it. So at this point, you can't fault INEC, you can't fault Peter Obi for their stands respectively. We need to understand from I think that video was trending at #1 at some point in the country, and to see a man of that age at that level being treated as such. First of all, let's even we want to go to the grassroots. Lamidia Papa gets to the meeting and sees the presidential campaign committee leader right there, and it's asking him to get up from the seat so he sits. And now that's where the altercation actually starts from. You've gotten there, he was already there before you. Why not just pick another seat? Why try to raise dust where it's not necessary? First of all, do not even forget that it's not only the Labour Party that was in the tribunal hall. There are people from other parties. So why not represent your party well? It would have been different if we said this altercation was happening between Labour Party and another party, but it was between Labour Party members. And the accusations and allegations for Lamidia Papa to say that those are mere allegations, because we continue to see you do things that do not stand to represent the collective
interest of the
Labour Party.
Yeah.
Why is it your faction that is asking Peter Obi and the Labour Party to withdraw their petition from the court, when you obviously know all of the energy that they put in to put this petition in the first place? And you have heard, over and over again, Peter Obi as the principal, candidate for the party, saying he's going to go to the court and make sure that he regains, what they believe to be the stolen mandate. Why do you now come as the acting national, chairman of the party to say that, it's okay if they withdrew the case? So it's showing that, we are not, the house is not together.
Yeah.
We are not representing a collective idea. And it was more of Lamidia Papa really embarrassing himself in the eyes of the whole world, literally. And it gets more difficult for you to national chairman of the Labour Party. We can't every now and then we see you in different altercations and conversations that are not unifying for a party. So it's more like, and when we also say, the Labour Party has not come together to put its house in order, it's difficult for you to put your house in order where the father is not okay. Like where the father is not The head of the house.
When one faction does not represent the collective interest of the whole,
and more like, even
whole
when we're
house.
saying, Lamidi Papa is more like the father of the party right now, and your house will really not be fixed if the father of the house says he doesn't want it to be fixed. We cannot have conversations of faction. You, Abure, we really do believe that you have done something that is anti-party, and this is how we're going to address it. It would have been different. But it looks like since,
But the Lamidi Papa is also being accused of it.
And even his activities are showing more anti-party spirits than you would even accuse Abure of at this moment. So it just continues to
always say interesting times ahead, when it comes to all of the things that are happening in this country. But we'll just take the wranglings and all the leadership tussle that is ongoing as we speak, and how this is going to affect the tribunal proceedings for us to look for a way forward. These and more we'll have as our conversations when we do come back. So stay with us and don't move a muscle.
Welcome back. This is still Rise and Shine, and we're coming to you live from Uyo, the capital city of Akwa State, Nigeria. Several conversations we've had so far. We want to navigate to our focus conversation, which is still about the Lamidi Papa saga at the Petition Tribunal yesterday, and all of the factional activities happening within the Labour Party. What's the hope of this party beyond the February 25th presidential election that seems to be further driving a knife through this party? We have on cue to have this conversation with us this morning Pius Ebon, who is the director of Obidati Presidential Campaign Council, Akwa Ibom State, and we also have joining us Anila Ju from the election under the People's Democratic Party, also founder of ePay. Good morning, Pius Ebon. Good to have you on the show this morning.
It's a pleasure having you this morning.
Okay, fantastic. I think we would still ask, you know, that regular question we always ask our guests this morning.
Oh, Uyo City is very bright this morning. The sun is rising, and everywhere is warm. The city is bustling with business activities. We are all okay. We thank God.
Yeah, definitely. I like that the city is bubbling with. That's when we even take it back to the presidential campaigns and everything that happened. Labour Party was more like an anthem for the positive reasons, like for giving Nigerians, would I say, a renewed hope, kinda, especially the young people. But today, Labour Party seems to be on the lips of Nigerians for the wrongest of reasons. And we saw the shameful acts that happened at the president, all of the booing and the shaming of Lamidi Apapa. So can you just tell us in one breath what is happening in the Labour Party as we speak?
Janice, I can guarantee you that Labour Party is intact. Labour Party is still very vibrant. Labour Party is still the talk of the nation for all positive things happening. What you saw yesterday, people who are trying to discredit Labour Party and acted in a very, very shameful, disgraceful way. And at the end of the day, the shame was on them. Labour Party is cruising very high. It is the bride of every groom in the country. We are moving at the right direction with the right speed. And within the shortest possible time, the truth will come out and Labour Party will assume its rightful place in the nation. I can guarantee you that.
Okay, so when we are still looking at this, the faction seems to be widening every week that, Lamidi Apapa remains as national chairman. What would you say that the Labour Party has done so far to try and reunite its house, especially because we also see that the faction available is driving towards the tribunal, also the tribunal and what they stand to represent?
Well, there is no faction whatsoever in Labour Party. I can repeat that. There is no faction whatsoever in Labour Party. Lamidi Apapa remains a suspended member of the Labour Party with most of the people that are behind him. And, they say when you see an old lady dancing on the street, probably naked, Labour Party. And note, he has been suspended long before this time, and he remains suspended from the Labour Party. So when you say faction of Labour Party, we do not recognize any faction of Labour Party. It's only one Labour Party that is in Nigeria now, and that Labour Party is led by Abure.
Now, when you say the Labour Party is led by Julius Abure, we'll begin to ask questions. Have the court reinstated Julius Abure back as the national chairman of the Labour Party? And then again, I'm going to take you on what you said about Lamidi Apapa as being, someone beating the drum for him to dance and, cause trouble for the Labour Party. Who exactly should we be suspecting at this point? I'm talking about Lamidi Apapa. I've asked you two questions. You say that Lamidi Apapa stands suspended from the Labour Party, and you're also saying that Julius Abure is the only recognized national chairman that the Labour.
There is a case in court right now involving
Yes, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Okay. Abure has a case in court, and that the court has not sat to decide that case. It's a petition. Anybody could be petitioned.
But he was suspended.
Now, the court,
he was suspended.
No. Look, there are two summons. There are two petitions, and the law states that when you have two summons from different courts of the same jurisdiction, you are free to pick one. Now, I don't want to go into that because the case is in the court right now. It is the court that will determine whatsoever will be the outcome. Abure has a case in court. There is no doubt about that, and he will answer to that case. But for the meantime, it was just a restraining order until the court meets and make a pronouncement. You can see,
restraining him from further displaying himself as the national chairman of the Labour Party. Let's put things straight. It was a court restraining him, a court order restraining Julius Abure from further parading himself as the national chairman of the Labour Party. Now also for anti-party reasons.
No, I think you are getting it wrong. I think you are getting it wrong. The last court sitting last week only determined whether that particular court had the jurisdiction to, that the court only assumed that jurisdiction. The case is coming up tomorrow. It is after tomorrow that we will now decide whether he is suspended or not. But for now, there is a petition for him to come and answer some questions. Those questions we may not know until it comes up at the court. Then what concerns Lamidi Apapa, you cannot force yourself on your people.
Now you also say that for the case of Lamidi Apapa, there is someone beating the drum for him to dance. Who is the person beating this drum? Let's know who are the people that are beating the drum for Lamidi Apapa.
It is no secret. It is the opposition party. It is those who do not want Labour Party to continue with the case, with the petition right now. It is not a secret. Every Nigerian knows that Lamidi Apapa is dancing to the tune of the opposition party.
Are these just mere Lamidi Apapa on the Labour Party, as it were? Because there's also an allegation that he tried to overrun yesterday about him receiving 500 million naira to scuttle the process at the tribunal.
Well, the case of 500 million naira, I don't know. I wasn't there. I can't speak for that. But the handwriting is there on the wall that Lamidi Apapa is being used. It is being used. I mean, there is absolutely no reason why he would want to impose himself on the people who do not accept him. There are rules and regulations guiding election of leadership into the party, and it is there in the guideline of the Constitution.
Okay,
you have to follow it.
Lamidi Apapa has been in the Labour Party for about 25 years, and he was the next in command to Abure. It was just a natural line that natural transition that after Abure, he was the next in command. So it's not necessarily like the courts, jumped over lines and picked someone in the party. It's more like, okay, there's a petition against Abure. Who is next in line? It is Lamidi Apapa, act in his capacity until the court, decides otherwise. So it's not like Lamidi Apapa is foreign to the Labour Party or is even, below the line in the cadre of leadership.
Well, if we the administrative division of the Labour Party, he remains suspended. So
was he suspended? Was he suspended before the court? Was he suspended before the court gave him the acting capacity or after the court gave him the acting capacity?
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
Did the Labour Party suspend Lamidi Apapa before the court gave him the acting capacity or after the court gave him the acting capacity?
Lamidi Apapa was suspended long before the petition against Abure came up.
Okay.
And that is why he had not been active at the national headquarters of the Labour Party. He said it himself that he restricted himself to Ogun State, Oyo State, and the western part of Nigeria because he was suspended from the national. He never come close to the national during this period.
Okay, so for me, I think it's also surprising to hear that Lamidi Apapa had long been suspended.
Yeah.
But again, when we look at what happened at the tribunal yesterday, it gives room for questioning. Where's this person getting this kinds of effrontery from? To come all the way from being suspended to come to the tribunal now to cause this kinds of problems that happen. So what is Labour Party actually doing, to stem the tide from this or all the shameful acts from Lamidi Apapa?
Well, we cannot stop Lamidi Apapa from acting. or even the court as it was yesterday, or anywhere near where authentic Labour Party members are gathering, you see the reaction and you see what comes out of it. It speaks for itself. What happened yesterday was very, very despicable. In fact, I don't think after that event that he will have the faith, he and his sponsors and his cohort will have the faith to come back and do any sort of things again concerning Labour Party.
Okay, I think we should also talk a little bit about the processes at the tribunal as it concerns the Labour Party. What do you think the fate of the Labour Party is, or rather will be? And then again, there's also allegations against INEC as to not allowing the Labour Party have access to particular documents that could help to foster the process in court. What's your opinion? What do you have to say about that?
Well, it is clear that there is a concerted effort from court.
Okay, so network seems to...
Now, it is clear. Why is it that everybody is talking about Labour Party? Why is it that the opposition party, the APC, INEC, and everyone that has to do with the election, apart from the petitioners, are working against are working against delivery of proper justice in Nigeria? Everybody should ask themselves that question. Why are they trying to block every avenue that Labour Party wants to come up and prove that it actually won the election? Can you imagine INEC not releasing the documents that Labour Party is asking for its own defense
but
for 3 months now?
INEC also says that there's a fee that is supposed to be paid to the tune of 1.5 million. So why is your party not paying that, to get access to those documents?
When did they bring up the issue of a fee to be paid? We only heard of it there yesterday at the court. And you remember our lead counsel said, okay, one
party was not privy to this information before then. Your party was not privy to
the fee that was attached to this document is a new development. We've never heard of it. And we are ready to pay the fee and get the documents.
Okay. So as it stands...
Are you aware of the fact that Port Harcourt, the REC in Port Harcourt said that they do not have Form EC8A? When we made application to get that form from them, they said they do not have it.
Yeah, we were actually going to come to that particular conversation as well, because yesterday on the papers also we saw that I think BBC now is also saying that aligning with some other reports from and all of that. So we're going to come to that conversation, but quickly to put to rest the question I was trying to ask, and along the lines of payment of fees.
Yeah.
Okay, so your party is saying that you're going to pay the fee, which according to you, you did not hear until yesterday when you were in court.
Okay, I think network is in the way right now.
But
serious conversation,
serious concerns,
and it will be surprising if the Labour Party says, before now, all of the interactions we've been having with the Independent Electoral Commission, we have not heard get to the court and then tell the the sitting judges that the Labour Party is refusing to pay a certain sum to gain access to documents. So that's like a lot of it takes you back to what Parasebong said, that there are people attempting to get into the way of the tribunal.
Well, but that would be left for Labour Party to prove at the end of the day. Anilaju, Victor Anilaju, thank you so much for joining us this morning all the way from Lagos. Of course, Victor Anilaju is a former presidential aspirant on the People's Democratic Party and also the founder of EPE. Thank you so much. You look very bright and beautiful this morning. It's as if the wind in Lagos is something different from the wind any other.
Thank you for having me on your show. Sorry, I had a little bit of network here and there to join your program this morning. I've never seen this before, but
we could say that we could say that you have a lot of back breaking things to say. Maybe that's why the network didn't want you to come up, because we've been looking squarely into.
I don't understand.
Yes. We've been looking squarely into Lamidi and Papa's issue with the Labour Party, and it's a big worry. Yeah, it's a big worry. The fracas that happened yesterday, a big embarrassment to the party and even nationally, at this level. But generally, let's just fall back with you with regards to that particular fracas. What are your thoughts?
PC at work, trying to interject, trying to stop the Labour Party from taking back their mandates. And they are doing everything humanly possible. I will not be surprised if by next week our social media network is. So APC will be doing a lot of things. I'm expecting them this week also to go to that courtroom and create more mayhem that will make the judges now say, you know what, let's adjourn. But you see all of this, I am not surprised. I'm not shocked. This is what APC are good at. They are good at killing democracy. They are good at bringing our democratic system down. And if anybody feels that Victor and Elijah should not talk about it,
Victor and Elijah,
if it's not allegation, why will you
have they been substantiated? Have these allegations been substantiated?
Madam, is it not obvious? Is it not obvious to you what will give that man, Mr. Papa, the boldness, the effrontery to enter a court where you know that same party you have been suspended? Now, even if the document you are saying that the judgment of the court did not pronounce you as the new chairman, do you understand what I'm saying? The judgment of the court with the current chairman of the Labour Party did not pronounce Mr. Papa as to be the current chairman.
But they asked him to take on an acting capacity. They installed him in an acting capacity to oversee.
Madam, when you invite me on your show, I spoke with a Labour Party chieftain, and that's what they told me, that there was no document that pronounced Apapa to take over the position. Do you know that all the states, why is he not getting support? Why is he not getting support from his state chairman? That's the issue. The issue here is that this is APC at work, and if anybody feels that what I'm saying, and I'm not supposed to be saying what I'm saying, but I feel so pity for my own generation, because this older generation, they are giving us a bad example. They are setting bad antecedent for us, and right now the young Nigerians don't even know what to follow. They don't even know what to do right now politically, because what we are seeing on our screen are the negative side of politics. Can APC rise up and show us how to bring Togri into politics? Why are people not asking them that? What have APC done positively to put the young Nigerians in the right track? I want to have a debate with anybody that is willing to show me the examples that APC have led on ground to teach the next generation this is how to do politics.
Okay, so we
go to Lagos now. When you go to Lagos now, the whole street of Lagos is now full with Agberos.
Okay, so there is also a concern that we have to be paid by the Labour Party to access certain documents, and Pius Ebong, who is the Akwa Ibom State, chairperson for the Obidati Presidential Council, he's saying that
Director Administration Obidati Campaign Council, Akwa Ibom State.
He's saying that that Labour Party was not privy to the information of that fee before getting into the tribunal session yesterday. INEC is saying Labour Party pay us 1.5 million naira and you would have access to certain documents. And the papers carried this morning that Labour Party was refusing to pay that amount. But Pius Ebong is saying they had no privy information about that fee until the tribunal yesterday. Is this still part of
it's just to get to May 29. Everything. So you can't, as looking at Labour Party, 1.5 million naira is not their problem. You and I, let's be logical. If they have asked Labour Party to pay 1.5 million naira to give them an evidence that they are going to use to win a case in court, do you think that Labour Party will refuse?
Victor, and spend money to get what is right. So we might. That's also a side to look at.
This is legal, and because they are saying it's going to cost us XYZ amount to give you what you need. And if I have to bring it to court to say,
Victor, please let me just say this. Victor, let me come in here. Now, if INEC is saying that to get to access to this particular document, every political party is supposed to pay a fee of 1.5 million. I don't think that it's targeted at scuttling the chances of the Labour Party. This is what maybe their guidelines stipulates, that a fee should be collected.
Yes,
the context here is, why had they not heard about that fee before the tribunal session yesterday? Because I'm sure they were not.
What I just told you. That is what I just told you. APC-led government and INEC, in collaboration with INEC, are trying to delay the system to get to May 29, where they are going to sworn in their supposed president-elect. You see all of these delays. So
it lands us on something that we have been saying, Victor. The Nigerian military has continued to say, and certain other sectors have said, that May 29 inauguration remains sacrosanct. Whether or not there's a tribunal currently sitting, it's not going to end the fact that May 29 inauguration will take place. President-elect will be sworn in. If the result of the tribunal, says otherwise, then they will, follow the due guidelines and put in whoever the tribunal says has won. But so far, there's really no need for us to delay or say the inauguration should not hold because the tribunal has not been concluded.
See, the issue here is that the military made those purported presidential elects, right? But in between that now and that time, there is a judgment from the court that states otherwise, that election was null and void. Then the military can now step in. So what everybody are trying to do now, everybody are trying to follow due process, which I am in lover of due process. Let everybody follow due process. But the question we need to ask INEC, why are you now becoming automatic defender of APC? Why don't you remain neutral and allow justice to prevail? Because this thing we're talking about, the announcement of Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the president-elect, was a purported rigged election by INEC in collaboration with APC. Tinubu never won the election, the presidential election, and that is where they are finding it difficult. What they are just trying to do is to sell us a lie, and you can't sell us a lie and expect us to embrace it. You can't. And the bad thing about the lie is that you will lie hundreds of lies coming from these two corners. If for you to say that the Labour Party refused to pay 1.5 million naira for them to have access to an evidence, that is obviously one of the shameful, the biggest lie I've heard about coming from INEC.
So I think we'll continue to follow the court proceedings, Victor. We'll continue to follow the court proceedings to, see how the cases continue to go and proceed. But it's obviously something very, very shameful also that INEC in Port Harcourt, the wreck in Port Harcourt. And just to land it on what we had on the papers yesterday, the BBC investigations are saying that, like Premium Times show, Obi and not Tinubu won in Rivers State, contrary to the loud claims of Governor Nyesom Wike. But in all of this, because at this point we think that we should have grown over and above some of these discrepancies that we saw happen during the presidential elections. But Victor and Elijah, we want to say a very big thank you to you. I know that you have a lot more to share with us this morning. Obviously you're the reason behind it, because you didn't join us on time. Again next week. We'll definitely have you again next week on the show. Thank you so much for your time, always with us on Rise and Shine. Do have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Yeah. And we just pray that Nigeria get better. And just like what I want to say is that Nigeria has grown more than this. We are better. We are forward thinking right now. But it's just some few persons in the element of APC that is trying to drag us behind. If APC can just be calm, take off their hand, INEC take off their hand, let's follow due process. In 1 week, we all will be happy. We all will be glad having a nation.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
No matter what they try, but we definitely win.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you.
We also know that Pius Ebon was still on air with us. I don't know if he's gone. So a big thank you to the director admin, for joining us. And he really did his best to let us know that there are no factions within the Labour Party. It just seems to be Lamidi Apapa who is confused about what's in trouble there, right?
And trying to force himself on the Labour Party.
Exactly. Right, I mean, you can't force yourself to be a father of the house. So thank you to Pius Ebon for also joining us and lending a voice to the issue with Labour Party this morning. But great conversations. Introspection is important to gain healing, and we hope that Labour Party can find their feet pretty soon. And we wish them all the best at the tribunal, who's been a part of the show today.
Yeah, we'll see you again tomorrow with another edition of Rise and Shine. Until then, stay woke, like Nigerians will always say. Stay sharp, and I will leave you with Blyden Ukem and Isaac for Sports Central. See you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.